What's the lowest grade
Crazy.
you've ever gotten in any class?
A D, I think. I got a D in chemistry, and I like sweet talked him into a C.
Sweet.
I sweet talked him into a C. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 91st episode of the 30s podcast. I am your solo host today, Uncle Marcus. As you can see, we're in a new space. As we said, I think on the last episode that we were going to be moving spaces. We moved spaces. This is the new one. It could be temporary. It could be permanent. It's up in the air right now, but that's why things look a little different if you're watching the YouTube. Some housekeeping up at the top. Also, Clint is not here today. He is in the South with his family, and he should be back next week. So look forward to that. So today, it's mostly just going to be my thoughts about what's kind of going on, things that are topical, and some stories, personal stories that happened to me this week. And I am going to talk X-Men at the end of the show. That seemed to be popping off a little bit up on our Instagram. So I'm going to address some X-Men news. I guess that's it for housekeeping this week. So I do want to talk about the eclipse. The eclipse happened a couple days ago. It was a big deal, more of a big deal on the East Coast than it was here on the West Coast. I guess we only got like 40% of it or 30% of it. But it was a big deal. It was a great. It's been a great meme week. And most of my news is about memes, or from memes this week, the eclipse being one of them. I unfortunately did not get to experience the eclipse. I was indoors at my place of work that has no windows. And I just didn't get to see it. It happened really quickly. I heard a little bit about it from other people. I guess it was pretty lackluster, pretty uneventful. Again, because we only saw the 30% of it, the 40% of it. So, good for you. Good to you if you got to experience some kind of crazy, space. I don't know what you would call it, lunar experience, solar experience. I did notice that on that particular day, though, that because I do, as I've said many times in the show, work as a bartender, that there was an extra layer of stupid amongst people. I'm guessing it's from the eclipse. The moon represents consciousness in a lot of spiritualities, so people were dumb that day. And it was just really an interesting day. I don't think I've seen an eclipse before, not like a memorable one to where I can recall what it looks like now, but I don't think it's that big a deal. I said it. Something about the eclipse. OJ Simpson is dead. Everybody, cheers. Yeah, we're going to have some cheers put in right here. Yes. OJ Simpson is dead. To be honest, I didn't know he was still alive. So congrats to no one because, no one likes him anyway. Somebody sent me a text message saying, "R.I.P. OJ Simpson. He got the one that got away with it." And it was like, we all know he did it. Like he didn't really he got away with it by not being in jail for life, or I don't know if that would have been punishable by execution, which is not what they call it. It's
Damn.
Guillotined. No, it's called, what's it called? Lethal injection? Yeah.
He wouldn't have been executed, I don't think.
Just put his ass in a guillotine. I don't think that's what he would have got life, I think. I don't know what it is, the rules are in California. But yeah, he didn't really get away with it. His life was ruined, as it should be, by this whole thing. And I'm old enough to remember, this is called the 30s podcast, that when the trial was happening, I was around when the trial was happening. I was still a young kid. I don't know the exact date. I want to say it was 93 or something, 94. But I remember that white, what was it? Ford
Bronco.
It was a Bronco. I remember the chase of the Bronco on the news. I remember watching it on the news. I'm old enough to remember the news, okay? Not only that, I remember when the trial was happening.
Yeah.
And it was on every day. Every day it was on it. Everybody was watching it. And it was a big deal. And I was too young to know why it was a big deal until I got older. But It was the blacks versus the whites. Speaking of the eclipse, it was the blacks versus the whites during that, and yeah, it's just I was around for that piece of history, and it's interesting to see how it all turned out. Anywho, what I was saying about OJ Simpson, like he didn't really get away with it. You know, he went into prison for a good amount of time, and then he was released. But you know, life was ruined after that. Or he was a joke. He was a big joke after that. And I think I have a memory of when he was found not guilty. You know, the blacks were like very happy, and then you know, it's like, but he's a piece of shit. You know, like what's this to celebrate? You know, other than like a cultural, like I don't know, the hate against the police and the law system and how they treat minorities anyway, and like, oh, we won, but like he really did kill this person. So was it a win? I don't know. But yeah, I guess he had stomach cancer, something like that. I didn't even know he was still alive. I thought he had died in Vegas a couple years ago, because I know that's where he had, when he got out of jail, that's where he went. I don't know if he was still there when he died, but I know he was like slumming around there doing something.
So he got out of jail. He went to jail in Vegas because he tried to steal his own memorabilia.
That's right.
So he wasn't allowed to leave Vegas after that.
Okay, yeah. So then he got released, and then he tried to steal. So even more evidence this guy's a piece of shit. But I mean, one would argue that if it's his own stuff, our own memorabilia, like I don't know.
But you don't steal your own memorabilia by holding somebody up with a gun.
Yeah, I don't know how it went down.
No, I'm just telling you.
Okay.
There's a whole documentary about it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I feel like there's books and documentaries about OJ. And he did that crazy book where he was like, if I did it, you're like, you're explaining how you did it, essentially, right? Like, if I do it. So, you know, R.I.P. to him. The memes are awesome. There was a lot from, what's her name? Caitlyn Jenner. Because she did a tweet. I don't know if it was real or not, but
it was.
It said "good riddance."
Yes, that's crazy.
People were like, "Didn't you kill someone?" Because you killed someone too.
Manslaughter.
Yeah.
And you actually got in trouble for it.
Yeah, like you. Yeah, so she killed someone. But yeah, it's just interesting that this piece of history has over. You know? OJ Simpson, like I said, was a big deal. I was alive for it. I saw a lot of Bronco memes too. Like this car, the value like shot up quickly if you still had one. Yeah, just an interesting time in life. I also learned his real name because I looked it up. I didn't know he was not OJ.
You thought he was born with OJ?
Yep. His name was OJ Simpson. I knew it didn't stand for Orange Juice Simpson. But I didn't know his name was not OJ. I wrote it down. It's Orenthal James Simpsons. Simpsons, like the show. Simpson. Orenthal James. Yeah, I didn't know that his real name was not just OJ. Again, I know it didn't mean orange juice, but you never know. And he died from cancer, so that is kind of a horrible way to die. So is it justice? No. Is it justice that his body killed itself instead of one of us killing him?
One of us.
You know what I mean? Like, someone is doing the lethal injection. Someone is like pushing start on that machine that kills you. It's like, no, his body killed itself.
I just picture a few guys in the room like, are you going to kill OJ? I don't know. One of us has to do it.
Someone's going to do it. Yeah, well, I guess I had that thought of like, what is the retribution here? Being in jail forever until you die, and then or getting lethal injection, or you getting out eventually, and then your body kills itself. Which is the more severe crime or more severe punishment for what you did? I don't know. I'm going to say him living with the shame of being a laughingstock is probably worse than him dying. I don't know. You know, who knows? Anywho, I have an iced coffee story I would like to say. I enjoy an iced coffee. I am a basic bitch, and I do enjoy a Starbucks iced coffee. Just black, no cream, no sweetener, nothing. And that's my go-to a couple days a week when I go to work. Since I work early in the morning, I think every couple of days I'll stop at Starbucks and get a simple black iced coffee. first part of my story. It's expensive. I don't know if anyone's been to a Starbucks lately. I never really noticed the price of coffee, but I did. I have the last few weeks, and it's like $4.25 for a cup of coffee, which is insane. $4.25 for a cup of coffee. It doesn't sound like a lot, but it adds up, especially if you're going multiple days a week. Just make it at home. So that's the first part of the story. Second part of the story was this was 2 days, yesterday. This was yesterday. I worked yesterday and I went to get myself an iced coffee. So I went to Starbucks. I went to the drive-thru. Okay. I didn't go inside. So I'm in the drive-thru. I go up to the little speaker box. Lady is like, welcome Starbucks, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, may I have a grande iced coffee, just black, no sweetener? And she was like, we're actually all out of iced coffee today. I was like, oh, that's weird. Do you guys just have hot coffee? She was like, yeah. And I was like, okay, I'll just take a grande hot coffee, no sweetener, no creamer or anything. She's like, okay, would you like anything else? I was like, yeah, can I get a venti cup of ice? Right? So I got coffee and ice. And so I'm pulling up to the window. Her response was like, okay. And kind of threw her off guard that I asked for a hot coffee and a thing of ice. And so I'm driving up to the window and I'm like, that wasn't rude, was it? It wasn't rude. I just asked for that. Because it kind of, the way I said it and her reaction made it sound like I might have belittled her a little bit. Like, what are you, stupid? Just put some ice in some coffee and you've got iced coffee, right? I was afraid that's how I came across. So then I go up to the window and she gives me the two items that I ordered. She gives me what I ordered, and she's got a big smile on her face, and she's like, okay, here you go. And I was like, thank you. And she's like, oh, just so you know, by the way, there's a shortage of iced coffee going on at all Starbucks locations right now. So you may or may not be able to get it in the future at other locations or this one. I was like, oh, okay, that's interesting. I don't know how that happens, but I was like, okay, well, thank you for letting me know. So now I know next time when I go. But as I was driving off, I thought about it a little bit more, and I was like, why can't they just do what I just did and make their, I don't know how they make their iced coffee normally. If it's like something that has to sit overnight in a fridge, probably have to do it overnight, because if you just put ice in it, it waters it down. But it seems like this is a problem that does not have a crazy solution to solve. And I feel like most people get an iced coffee from Starbucks and a hot coffee. So if you knew you were going to have a shortage, you would have a solution set up already. And I solved it in seconds. And so, yeah, I looked it up, and I guess they use a different kind of blend for their iced coffee than their regular coffee. So I was like, all right, I guess they're short on that. But then just use your other blend and just like, if you want, give people a note, it's like, hey, the coffee's going to taste different because it's a different blend. It's still your iced coffee. It's still your caffeine in the fix in the morning, but it's going to taste a little bit different, which I think would be a reasonable solution to this instead of just, we don't have it. It was so, that crazy. That's not crazy, right? So I was going back and forth in my head as I'm driving to work, the rest of the way to work, because after I get my coffee, it's still like another 5-10 minutes till I get to work, the coffee place I stop, and it was like, it set me like in a spin, like this is unreasonable to be in this spin, but this is such an easy solution to a problem that shouldn't exist. And yeah, hopefully Starbucks, I'm going to hashtag Starbucks that clip and, solve their problem. And hopefully we won't have an issue, but yeah, it was just really dumb. I don't know, such an easy solution to fix for an iced coffee. It's just a colder version of a coffee. If you want to use that blend and do that overnight, just do that instead. Again, and let people know, because I'm not a coffee aficionado, but I would taste the difference, and if I had that coffee every day and it all of a sudden tasted different. And I'm not drinking Starbucks coffee for the taste in the first place. It used to be cheap; it's not anymore, so I might stop going. And it's just the caffeine fix. It's like the perfect caffeine fix for me, where I'm not vibrating out of my skin, and it's enough to make me shake. So, anywho, what's next on my stories today? I ate outside the other day alone. Again, was yesterday. No, 2 days ago. 2 days ago. I ate outside alone. I had some people cleaning my house, and so I needed to be out of the house for a few hours. I went to a cafe local to this area, we'll say, where we're at. Actually, it was in Orange County. I went to this breakfast place called Snooze, which I guess is a chain. But I used to live right next to this one, so I knew it was there. And I was in that area because I had an errand to do over there, so I thought I would get breakfast at Snooze. And they had a little outdoor dining part of their restaurant. And I go in and I talk to the host, and I had my laptop with me, so I was going to get some work done while I was there. I had my headphones too, so no one's walking up to me, unless the server, obviously. Like I only had the one ear in, so which she needed to talk to me. She could talk to me, but I went to sit outside, and I was the only one in their little outside dining area, and it's like on the side of the street, and there's a street, right, like a kind of a moderately busy street, so there's lots of people walking by. There's lots of cars going up and down. And so I sat outside, and the server comes, gets my order. First of all, I want to say about Snooze, your menu is insane. Okay? It's not like Cheesecake Factory levels of stuff on the menu, but I feel like at a breakfast joint, there should not be 30 options to choose from. And that's one side of the back half of the menu was the drinks. More drinks available than the food. Okay, that's unreasonable. And then the other side, again with the food, there's like 30 different food options. And it's like there's savories, there's sweets, there's greens, there's all these options where I'm like, this place is not that big. The kitchen here can't be that large. Why is there this many different options of food? How is this all prepped together in this small kitchen space? A little fishy to me, but it's a chain, so they've got it figured out. Anyway, so the menu option had too many options, and it did take me a lot. Well, there was that, and then they handed me like a seasonal menu too. We're like, oh, these are our new seasonal options, which was again like another 10 things on that menu, and I was like, dude. And on the back of that, there were drinks as well, like 10 more drinks. We go up to 40 drinks and 40 entrees now that I have to peruse through before I can order. And I like to peruse the menu. I don't just go for my usuals. Like there's people who, mostly white people, Clint, this is good for your thing next week, or whatever you're working on, who go out and order the same thing at every place. They always get the spaghetti if there's an option to get spaghetti at a joint, they'll get the spaghetti, the chicken, the steak, whatever. I'm not one of those people. I like to look at the menu and see what's on there and then make my choices from there. So I was at Snooze looking through the menu, and the server comes up, and I'm still looking at drinks, by the way, because there are 30 drinks. And she's like, "Oh, can I get you something to drink?" And I'll take a water, please. And then, it was the middle of the day. It was like 11:30 in the morning, and I don't usually go out to eat alone often, like a couple times a year. It's not that often. And I don't know. I wasn't like in a fun mood, so I thought I would get a drink because they had a lot of drink options on this menu. I was like, well, I should try one of these. So I ordered a kimchi Bloody Mary. Interesting option. It seemed interesting to me, a kimchi Bloody Mary. So I ordered that. She drops it off. She's like, do you need a few more minutes? Yes, please. I need a few more minutes. There's 30 different things on this menu, plus a little mini menu with 10 more things. I didn't tell her that. I just said, yes, I need a few more minutes. She came back like 2 minutes later. Literally like 2 minutes later. Like, do you need some more time? Yes, please. I need some more time. So she left again, and then this time she came back at like 10 minutes later, and I had looked at everything on that menu, and I ended up ordering the short rib loco moco. It was excellent. It was very good. Okay, that's the end of the food story. But the reason I brought up the Snooze story was because I sat outside alone, and I was the only person in that outside dining area, and it was a beautiful day. If you're in the area, the Orange County, LA, Southern California area, this week, the last couple days, not counting yesterday, beautiful weather. Stunning. It was what California is known for. It was 75 to 80 degrees outside with a light breeze. So it's warm, but it's cool at the same time. So the weather was stunning. I was outside alone, thinking to myself, why are not more people out here? Whatever. It was like I said, a busy street, lots of people walking up and down. And I don't know if it was just in my head or not, or if it was actually happening, but people were looking at me. I was dressed normal. I had a flannel on, regular like green flannel, nothing special. I don't know. I must have been more aware of my presence than I normally am, because I feel like every time somebody walked by, and it was often, I got one of these. Was it because I was drinking a Bloody Mary at 11 in the morning? No, that's normal for a lot of people. Because I was sitting outside alone, with I had my laptop too, so I was like tapping away. I don't think that's that unusual. By the time I noticed, I was done with my food and I was just sitting there, just trying to kill time, like I said. But a lot of people were staring at me, looking at me, and it was just really unusual. But it was great for writing because I was making very funny observations. If you sit outside at a heavily, I recommend this to anybody, but especially creative people. If you sit outside at a crowded venue, restaurant, coffee shop, fill in the blank, anything that has like a lot of street traffic, I recommend you do go out there alone, have a piece of paper, or in my case, I had my laptop, put on some music. I was listening to some like 90s R&B playlist, whatever, and just observe people and see what you see. And wear sunglasses too. You don't want to be creep. And just kind of look at people as they walk by. It is gold for content. People are weird, dude, myself included. Or they're just unique. They're very unique. Clothing styles. I'm always very kind of I'm kind of into not really, not crazy, but like I have a little bit of a fashion thing where like I like clothes and stuff. So seeing other people's fashions is interesting. Seeing how people just walk, like the gaits, the different gaits, is really interesting. Hearing voices, you're like, I would not expect that voice to come out of that mouth. Is always very fascinating. Parents with kids is always interesting. Like the ones that are kind of mean to their kids or just let them behave like animals is interesting. Fun observation, gives you plenty of content. Couples are always very fascinating. Seeing like body language, how they speak to each other. PDA, we've already said before on the show, I'm a bit of a voyeur, so yeah, sometimes I like to look. Yeah, it's interesting to seeing, because also when you see these people, you don't think about what happens after you see them. They're going to go to work. They're going to go home. What is their home lives like? This is more fun in an airport, I'd say, than maybe like out on the street, but whatever. We're not always in airports. Like thinking about what is their life like after this when they go home. Like, what does their home look like? Are they animals? Like, is their place trashed? Like, it's kind of like doesn't break your brain, but really just kind of, it can send you on a spiral when you think about these lives of these people. There's so many of us, and you're never going to see them again, usually. And it's just, they go off and live their lives and do their own things. And it's really interesting to think about that. And my point of all this is that it really sparks creativity. Again, if you're a creative person and if you enjoy writing or just, any kind of creative art, whatever, to just go out and look at people and see how they behave, how they look, how they act. And yeah, the day I recommend everyone does it. I've done it before, and I've had kind of the same revelations, but I think I'm going to do it more often. I got a lot of good jokes out of it, so it's great. Speaking of jokes, I'm going to the Comedy Store on Wednesday with some friends. It's kind of like a going away thing for one of them, so I'll report on that next week. But that's going to be fun. It's been a while since I went to the Comedy Store, and yeah, that'll happen next week. Netflix is a Joke Fest is coming up in May. I have not yet decided if I'm going to see anybody. I'll probably just. So here's the thing about Netflix is a Joke. If you don't know what this is, for anyone that listens to stand up or goes to clubs or whatever, Netflix is a Joke is this. It's called festival. It's a festival. They do it in LA in May every year. I think it's in May every year, May, June, right before summer starts. And basically, every comedian, like big comedian, comes to LA and they perform somewhere. It is kind of like to put it, if Clint were here because he's into like the Avengers of stand-up comedy. Everybody's in town. The problem with that is that they're essentially competing with each other. Not them, but they're competing for our time and our money. So my favorite, Tom Segura, he's playing I think the Kia Forum or whatever. I think it's the Kia Forum. But he's going to be there on a day that, someone else I could potentially want to watch is going to be overdoing it in, the Ice House or at the Comedy Store or wherever. So there's so many comedians in town that you have to choose who you want to see. So if you're like me and you have like a lot of people that you like to see do stand up, you can't really, you have to choose. You have to decide, I want to go see him. That means I won't be able to see her. I want to go see her. That means I won't be able to see him, whatever. So it's cool that they're all in LA since not all of them live here anymore and you can't see them like at the Comedy Store. But it sucks that they're competing for, and you got to pay for all these. It's not like you go to the store and you see a lineup of 10 comics and it's, 20, wherever you want to sit, the prices are different. It's not like that. You have to pay for a whole show. And then it's like, if you, like, again, a stand-up show, when you go into a headlining show, it's a whole experience. They have openers, there's drinks involved, food if you want to eat. So it's like it's an expense. So it's good and bad. There is a hidden good that most people know this if they're into comedy. Some may not. So the Comedy Store, I've said it like 6 times in this episode already. During Netflix's A Joke Festival, they all go there. Like after their shows or like on days where they're in town but they're not performing yet, they're all there. So not everyone knows this, but I do, and I'm giving the secret right now. These tickets are mostly sold out. I checked the other day. For the weeks that Netflix's A Joke is in LA, you can go to the Comedy Store and go to a show in the main room or in the OR, maybe the belly room, and they're just going to pop in there and you don't know who is going to be there. It's going to be a surprise. I think the shows are actually called Netflix's Joke Headliners Secret Shows or something. It's something like that. So, worded like that some way where they're saying, hey, we don't know who's going to be here yet today, but you're going to have a good time. Like I said, Tom, I'm sure he'll be there one night or multiple nights. He lives in Tejas, but he's flying in for a couple days. It's like, yeah, I'll go do the Comedy Store. I'm sure Christina P will be there. I'm sure Bert will be there. I'm sure Tommy Lee. Radical
Tommy
Lee
dude.
might be there. He won't be on stage. Bobby Lee might be there. Santino might be there. And fill in the blank. Everyone's going to be there at one point, at one day. So that's cool.
That's cool. Yeah, there's even some sanctioned shows by them. So like Pauly Shore, obviously.
Yeah, Jam in the Van stuff.
Freddie Gibbs, who's a rapper. That's cool. Cocaine Comedy.
Yeah. Are you on the website right now?
Yeah, I'm looking at them.
Yeah,
right now.
there's like, again, unless you don't know, like if you say like you're a fan of this comedian and you want to see their show, like, oh yes, they're in town this week. Like a middle person who just doesn't, who's like, they're not into stand-up comedy, but they have a few comedians that they like and they're like, oh, okay, we'll get get my wife and we'll go see whoever at the Kia Forum. They may not know that, first of all, the Comedy Store even exists, but that, that this is a thing. No, they do. So it is great. It's nice that that's a thing. I'll probably try and go to at least one show. Again, those shows are always, if they're not already sold out, they're going to be sold out. They're sold out.
They're low ticket warning on all
Okay.
of them.
And that usually does not happen for a regular headliner's show until like the week before. And this is next month. So I have to decide quickly, but then it's even like, I don't know what I'm going to be doing that day or I'm not going alone,
Did you have like anybody you like wanted to see out of the whole Netflix like lineup?
Well, I did want to go. The problem is the comedians that I do want to see are doing arenas. They're at an arena, which, as I've said before on this show, I'm not a fan of arena comedy. It's just different. It's not. It needs to be in a comedy club for me to really enjoy it. There are a few, but I don't know. We'll see. I have to. Again, I don't know what I'm gonna be doing those days. It's hard to plan a month ahead for me.
I got a ticket for Tim Robinson's I Think You Should Leave live.
What day is that on?
It's on. Well, I got it for San Diego because the LA tour was too expensive and sold out.
Yeah.
So like May 2nd, he's gonna be in San Diego.
Where at?
It's like a outside bowl thing.
That's it's the clamshell thing, Rady shell.
I don't know.
Okay.
That thing is not like a stand-up thing. They show on-air sketches and
Yeah.
have like the panel discussion with everybody that works on the show.
Yeah, I think that might be the same place that I saw Tom Segura at, and I was like, "This is not it."
Yeah.
It was fun. It was like a fun experience, but
Yeah.
it's
For stand-up, yeah.
Yeah, it was like a party because you go there and then there's a bunch of food and a bunch of drinks and there's like selling a bunch of merch and like everybody's hype, and it's like kind of like going to. I've never been to a concert, but I imagine like going to a concert, and then once I got into the stand-up, I was like, this sucks. Like, it's not, it's just a different thing. But nothing against the jokes. It just was not the same. as being in a dark comedy club, like being right next to the comedian. They can look at you. You can't. They don't know who. They can't see shit. They just see little ants. So
yeah. So for the Comedy Store in the original room is where they have the secret Netflix is the joke headliners, and a lot of those, they have 11 a lot of low ticket room.
Right, and even on those shows, like so the shows in the main room too, they may not say secret headliners, but they're in the building, so they may just be like, "Hey, can I go and do 10 minutes?" I'm like, "Yeah, you can." So it's
huge surprise guest.
Yeah, so they advertise it, but again, if you don't really know, you don't know. So
$5 single day ticket.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
And then once you get there, the pro tip I told you guys not last time, this was like a year ago, was just give the
guy $20.
Give the door guy $20. Give the door guy $5. I give them 20 because support the dudes. But like, give them $20 and they'll give you whatever the you want. They'll put you right on the stage. Well, not right on the stage because those tickets are like $100. Those tickets are $100, so they won't do that. But they'll get you like right behind there, and it's a thing. It's a whole thing. Netflix is a joke is coming. That's all I have to say about that. So, what else have I got today? Oh my God, enraged me, Caesar. I don't know if you're aware of this or not, but the grading scale for public school has shifted.
What?
So right here, I'm going to put right here. This is what it is currently, what it has been changed to. And the article I read was not too in depth. I don't know if it changes from state to state, but this is for California. But they have lowered the percentages for the different grades. It's still A through F. Mm-hmm. That has not changed, but this is strictly public school, not private. I don't think private's changing. Maybe it is. I don't know. To catch up with this, who knows? So now, to get an A in public school education in any class, and I'm guessing this is going to be for high school, it is now 100% to 84%.
No way.
84% is an A, okay? 100 to 84%, which, hold on. So a B is 84 to 64%.
No.
64% is a B, okay? C is 64 to 44%. That's a C. C's get degrees. That's a pass, okay? 44% is passing a class.
No way.
Fucking crazy. A D, I think D still counts as passing. I never got one. 44, I've gotten plenty of C's. 44 to 24% is a D. 24%, 24% in a class is a D. I think that still counts as passing. And 24 to 0 is the F. That's crazy that you only have to get 25% to get a D. 25%. That's a fourth of the quantity of the knowledge you have to know in the class. I said class. I was thinking math. That's why. 24%. That's I had someone show me this at work 2 days ago, and I was like, this must be a meme, or this must be like a joke. Like, did this? I don't know. He was like, no, dude, this is on Dr. Phil. And I was like, what? So then I looked,
Phil.
Yeah, this particular thing, that article that I pulled, or that he showed me, was from like a Dr. Phil thing. But like, I looked it up and I was like, holy, I can't believe this is real. Okay. I am a public school graduate, whatever. I was an okay student, I did my work, but this is not like a C. 44% is a C. I don't remember the exact. I think 60% was the D. Mm-hmm. Yeah, 60. Anything in the sixes was a D. 64 is a B. Yeah, so what would have been a 64 would have been a D minus.
And I got straight A's in high school. Then
okay, no need to brag.
Well, so now I'm saying if that's the rubric,
right,
then I got straight A's.
Correct. I probably would have got it for sure, all A's and B's. Yeah. But like, there would have been a class that would have been a B, but it would have been mostly A's. If 84% was A. I can't believe 64% is a B. That was, I think, that technically a D minus. I don't know. I don't think they do minuses and pluses anymore. But they're eliminating math, so they don't do those. 64%. This is crazy.
That's ridiculous.
I can't. We're just. I know it's like a joke that we're all getting dumber, and then school's kind of losing its value, I guess. Because they don't teach us anything. Now, upon reflection, if you think about my public school experience, I can't speak for private. My public school experience, I don't remember anything. Nothing. No. A few snippets of like a history class here and there. And I have to think hard about it. It has to be like, has to jog. I have to like, oh, I learned about that what's his name? I don't remember the teachers' names. I don't remember their names. Okay, I don't remember their names. I can't. What was one teacher's name?
Damn, not even one teacher.
I had a teacher named Carmichael. I don't remember if it was Miss or Mrs. It was an English teacher, and Miss Mac was an English teacher.
Damn,
that's it. I'd have to like take pen to paper and really think about it. But no, mostly I don't remember any of those teachers. I can remember elementary school teachers for sure, but junior high and high school, I don't remember the teachers' names. How am I supposed to remember what I learned in the class? I saw these dickheads every day. You know, I saw them every day, and I had to be like, you have to interact with them too, and you have to say their names. And I don't remember the names. So how do I remember the stuff I learned in school, especially because it's all worthless. You know, it's all junk. Yeah, this fucked my brain, dude. Just like the brains are broken of all the kids in the schools now because they can't pass. They can't. I honestly I didn't read most context for this because I was just too like, this can't be real. Like, what is the reason for this? I still can't
believe it's real.
Yeah, what is the reason for this other than just people being stupid? That has to be it. Whatever.
Would you have rather done A through F grading or pass or fail?
Well, if you know, like, so let's say for high school.
Yeah.
So let's say your plan is to go to college and not do like a trade or something.
Yeah.
Pass or fail. Because if you can get into college with a C,
then it should be like 70% is pass. And then
yeah, it should be like you pass this class or you fail this class. And then if you want to do extracurriculars to like spice up your whatever your entrance exam, fine. But like if you're just doing like what a lot of just normal, like regular, I don't want to say normal, but like not overachievers. Just like we're in school and we do fine and then we go into the world. It should be pass or fail.
Yeah.
Because it really, if you do pass a class with a C or even a D, I think some classes it's fine if you get a D. Anything but an F, it should just be pass or fail.
Yeah.
And now if they've lowered the percentages to like, I don't say idiot level, but like this is really,
if 24% or lower is an F, then that is idiot level.
I don't know. I don't want to say it. Maybe like effort instead, because you can still be pretty dumb and pass a class as long as you try hard, try to do hard. Try to do your work. It is more about effort than it is about actual understanding of the information.
Yeah,
I think. But this is crazy. Like, this is nuts. 24. A scale of 24% effort into a class is counting as passing. Even the max for the D is 44%. If that counts as enough effort, less than half of your time in that class, and you pass it. That much time put towards effort and you pass.
What's the lowest grade you've ever gotten in any class?
A D, I think. I got a D in chemistry, and I like sweet talked him into a C.
sweet
talked him into a C. No. I think because I was like I really did try in chemistry. I will attest is the hardest class I've ever had to take, even counting the small amount of college that I went to. High school chemistry was the hardest thing I've ever had to do. And he knew like that I was trying, you know, and he was like, just do this like extra thing and I'll give you a C, you know, because I was in, this was in 11th grade, I think, maybe 10th grade. But I had like honors classes, like my English was honors, history was honors, math was not because I can't do math. And I had something else. Anyway, so he was like, so you're like a good student. You just don't know this. And I was like, yeah, I can't do this. So he like let me slide, which was good on him. Like that was nice for him to do that. But yeah, I tried, even the stuff I didn't know, I still tried to do it. And like this 44%, dude, that's a D. That's nuts.
Yeah.
God, the kids are stupid.
That happened to me. There was a biology final, and I never was good at that class. It was in college, and she even gave us like a cheat sheet where you could write any facts you wanted, and I still got an F on the final. And I was like, I just don't get biology. I'm sorry.
That's one of the things. I think I may have said it with Clint on this show before because he's doing the teaching stuff. Is like some people just don't get it. Like they either don't respond to how it's being taught, or it's the neurons are not firing in their head. It doesn't work. And then to call them dumb or give them an F. The red marker with the unhappy face and circle to your test. It's like, they don't do that in the real world.
Yeah, show your parents how stupid you are.
Yeah. Have them sign it. Let them know how dumb you are and bring it back. So I can see that, I can shame you about it. I don't know. It's just like, it's a weird, because once you get out of school, we don't really do that to people.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we have privately, like the person who can't figure out a checkout counter. It's like, how do I pay? With your card. It's not that hard. That happens to me. Oh my God. Happens to me all the time at work. People are like, how do I pay for this? I was like, with your card or with cash. How do you pay for anything else? we don't shame those people. We do it probably in our heads. And if I did it verbally, I'd get fired. But so there was a punishment to it. But
you forget how to breathe too?
God, this came up yesterday, this particular thing, because I was like, I had some idiot eclipse, probably because of the eclipse. And I was like, how does this person navigate the rest of the world if they cannot understand how to pay for an item that they purchased?
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, I want this drink. How do I pay for this? With money, with the cash, with the card. And they're like, oh, yeah, okay. And it's like, how do you navigate the rest of the world?
Mm-hmm.
Like, do you know how to read traffic signs? Do you know how to read a stoplight? When you go to the grocery store, do you just walk out with your food? Do you put it on the conveyor belt and you're like, no, now what? It's like, the next step is to pay. It's not like it's.
Yeah, my dad, he was not great at speaking English, but he understood well enough to get by. And one time he had to go to traffic school, and there was people that didn't understand anything. And he's like,
dude,
you can't, I understand that it takes a while to learn, but you can't survive without this basic information. How do you do it?
Navigating the world on the most basic scale. Again, this is why we're now at 24% for a D. I think because of the internet, it's starting to catch up. People are like, oh, everyone's an idiot. Mm-hmm. Everyone's dumb in some way. I'm dumb in some ways too. I don't know, but this stuff like Clint knows. I'm like, huh? And he's like, you don't know what that is now. But just, I don't know. It's nuts. It's sad and it's nuts. And it's, it's kind of like, I feel like this is a South Park, or we're in a South Park episode now, just like the way the world is, where I'm not talking politics at all on the show, but that's happening right now. Mm-hmm. And it's like, how are people so stupid? How? It's like we're living in a South Park episode. And now with the grading scale, it's like, I don't want to talk about it anymore. Conan was on Hot Ones. Mm-hmm. And I think there's going to be a lot of fun memes. There already are some, but it's just from that episode. Hot Ones is cool because I don't watch Hot Ones anymore because it got way too popular, and now it's just everyone knows it, so it's kind of lost its specialness to me. Mm-hmm. But I do enjoy a meme from the show. The Idris Elba one is probably the biggest. Yeah. What the f- but now that Conan's been on it, there's one where he's just like, I'm fine. I'm just fine. I'm like, that's gonna be a big one right there. That's gonna be a big one.
Look at us. Paul Rudd.
Yeah.
Another one.
I saw one today. I haven't seen, like I said, I haven't watched the episode with Conan, but I guess he drinks milk at one point. So it's running out of his mouth. Here we go. So obviously there's going to be a lot of cum memes. But then there's one where it's every android in the Alien series, because they always spit out milk when they're dying and gold. It's been a good week for memes. It's been an amazing week for memes with OJ, the Eclipse, now Conan. I just wanted to point that out. I do want to talk about this on my wrist, seeing as this is the 30s podcast, and I am old. I'm closer to 40 than I am to 30. I know. Can you believe it? But I've had an issue with arthritis. I have arthritis. Okay. And I'm 35 years old, about to be 36 in a few months. I'm not that young. I'm not that old. I'm right in the middle of my life. I'm probably not middle aged. I'm probably not there yet, but who knows? So I have arthritis. This is not new to me. I've known this since I was about 24 years old. Okay. You think arthritis, you think old person, right? That's what I thought. That's what everyone else thinks, at least ones I've talked to. I have it in my knees and in my wrists, both of my wrists. These flies are ruining my rants. Sorry. We leave our flaws, like I said. We've said many times. We'll keep it.
I'll leave that one in.
Yeah. So yeah, I've got arthritis in my knees and in my wrists.
Damn.
And it's just been getting worse and worse. I've had to wear, this. I don't wear it every day, but my wrist hurts today. I have braces. I have to wear braces, and not on my teeth. And on my knees, I wear compression braces too. And it helps. I mean, modern medicine is great. It helps. But it sucks that your body just when we're all dying. Like, as soon as we're born, we're dying. That's the finish line. We're just slowly dying every day. But Perfect 30s topic, as you start to get into your 30s, you notice it. Start to notice it. You can't just do whatever the hell you want. You can't, you guys know it. No children are watching this show or listening to this episode. I don't think.
Imagine you're popular with the teen demographic. 30s is got 16-year-olds.
As long as they like and subscribe, who cares? But
this podcast is bussing.
Yeah. FR. I know what it means for real, guys. But yeah, I don't need to tell you guys. We're all heading to the same finish line. So it sucks when you start to really feel it and realize it, and see it on your body and feel it on your body. And I hate it. And there's ways around it. Like, you can eat foods like that reduce inflammation. Like, that's what it is arthritis is inflammation. I call it arthritis sometimes. And it's inflammation. So you just gotta stay ahead of it, and it sucks having to stay ahead of it. Movie updates. I saw Kung Fu Panda 4. Saw it on that same day. I went to the coffee shop because I didn't kill enough time, and they were still working on it in my home. And the theater is down the street from where I live, so I just went and watched a movie. And the only one playing at that time was Kung Fu Panda, and one other one, and I didn't want to see that one, so I watched Kung Fu Panda 4. I really have nothing to say about it. I wrote it down on my notes because it's something I did this week. But like, I've watched the other Kung Fu Panda movies, and they're fun. They're fun kids movies. Got martial arts in it, which is cool. I'm into that. And like, this one came out, and it was like my friend, Skylar, you guys know him if you watch the show. He knows I've watched the other movies, and I like them. And he was like, "Are you gonna watch Kung Fu?" This was a couple weeks ago. He's like, "Are you gonna watch Kung Fu Panda 4?" And I was like, I didn't even know there was a fourth one out. He was like, "Oh yeah, it's out. Are you going to watch it?" And I was like, "Probably not. I mean, it's just going to be it's more of the same,
Yeah.
Like, maybe if I have time on a streaming service one day, but I'm not like heading down to the theater to watch Kung Fu Panda 4. And neither was anyone else because I was the only one in the theater. So, yeah, I watched it. Whatever. Forgettable. Jack Black is funny as always, but it's just him yelling. He's the same as like Will Ferrell. I said feral, like an animal. Feral. Feral?
Well, Pharrell.
Pharrell.
No, wait. Well, Feral.
Feral.
Yeah.
Is it feral?
Let's look it up.
Pharrell?
Because Pharrell's the singer.
Pharrell's the
pronunciation.
Feral. Will Ferrell. Pharrell? I don't know. We'll get it figured out.
I got it right here.
Feral.
Feral.
Like a animal.
Feral. Yeah.
Feral cat. What was the point of that? Oh, but Jack Black. He's kind of like Will Ferrell and, Seth Rogen maybe, or whoever, like, has like a shtick that they always kind of do, or they're just kind of like for Jack Black and Will Ferrell too. Now it sounds weird when I'm saying Ferrell. To me, this is my interpretation, my opinion. It could be not yours. It probably isn't. They're always just kind of yelling. Not to say that they're not funny and they're not good at it, but they're all just kind of like yelling. They're just loud guys. They're being funny loudly, and that's kind of like the same thing in all of their that I've seen. I haven't seen all of their stuff, but that's kind of like, to me, I'm like, oh, that shtick is not my jam. Which stick and jam? Something there. Cooking. So whatever. Kung Fu Panda 4, watch it if you want. So we'll wrap up. Do I have any more? I have music updates, but I want to do it here. I'll talk about X-Men. So X-Men is real big right now. The X-Men 97 show is real big right now. We talked about it a little bit. Yeah, and I watched the newest episode. Episode 5 came out, and I watched it a couple days late. I watched it yesterday. So I think they come out on Wednesdays. But I had already seen a lot of a lot of stuff on the internet about this particular episode just being very good, like very well written, whatever, animated, whatever you want to fill in the blank. And so I was like, okay, it's going to be great. And I watched the episode, and it was great. It was a good episode. And yeah, I liked it. A lot of the stuff I was seeing online was people having really intense emotional reactions to this episode. And it is like, it's the ending of it is sad, but like, it's mostly like not, I don't want to say surfacey, but like to me, this is me. So light me up, please. I didn't get much out of it. Like, I know Genosha is like a big, because the mutants are there and like how they're part of the UN and whatever. But yeah, the end is, I think, is people are really talking about, because spoilers on Gambit dies, right? He gets blown up. Sorry, Caesar.
That's okay.
But yeah, and it's like Rogue is like really sad about it, whatever. And then like, Scott's like cheating on Jean with Madeline Pryor, like mentally still. They have like a whole thing going on. So like, it's a very well written and well done episode. It's a great episode, but it's not like, sorry, it's not like going to change. I have no other thoughts other than that about the episode. Positive. The only criticism I have of the episode, which is really small, and it's just, I guess, the series overall, is they're just speeding through all these stories, dude. Like, each episode is like a whole run of a comic, and they're just like shooting through material real quickly, to where I'm like, oh, this is going to be one season and that's it. I feel like, because they're pulling from stuff that exists already, which is cool, but they're just like ripping through it real quick, to where if this is a one season thing, great. You don't want to, I've shows that go on for like 10 years, like, so like it ended. Okay. But I don't see the reason to do like do so many arcs so quickly. It's to me, it's kind of jarring. I don't think you should be doing that. It's like the last episode was probably my favorite they've had so far. They did a Mojoverse thing, and it was super like 90s. It was, they go into a beat 'em up arcade game, and I like Jubilee, and she's one of my favorite X-Men, and it's like, it's cool seeing all that, but then it's like, that's gone now. They're not going to revisit that. So that could have been a couple episode arc of, Jubilee and I guess Sunspot. I don't think they've named him in the show yet, but I think that's Sunspot. And like, they're bopping around in the Mojoverse. That could have been like a 3-episode arc, but now it's one and done. This episode with Genosha joining the UN could have been a 3-episode arc that ends climactically with Gambit blowing himself up. One and done. So it's just preference, I guess. It's not a good or a bad. It's just a preference that I wish they would kind of open it up a bit more, especially because we haven't had the mutants for so long. And now that they're finally here, they're just kind of like, get him in, get him out, get him in, get him in, get him out, get him in, get him out. So that's it, really. I'll watch the next episode next week, because this is kind of a cliffhanger, but kind of not. They kind of just finished the storyline. So we'll see. I think, no. 2 episodes ago was the cliffhanger with Storm, and they're going to finish that one next week, I think. So we'll see what happens there. And that's pretty much all I got for this week. Next week, next week will probably mostly be me talking about the Comedy Store. I'm going to try hard. I'm going to stay after the show, and I'm going to be in Star. And I'm going to see who I can talk to outside. Hopefully there'll be comedians out there. I can fangirl around them and maybe get some pictures and just be like the ultimate starfuck. Be like, oh, Chuck. I'm sorry. Comedians. Not just
Chuckle.
So that's it for today. Producer Caesar, do your thingies.
You can follow me at I am Caesar Rod. That's my personal one. At Rodriguez Podcast, if you want me to make a podcast for you. I have a mobile setup so we can make it work wherever. At The Rodriguez Show and at Carla and Caesar's Modern Life, both on YouTube. Those are the other shows. Oh, and Decade Dialogue. Hey. 3 other podcasts that I do, so check those out.
He's a working man. Always busy. The Clint Show? The Clint Show.
Clint_show.
Clint_show for his stuff. Uncle 2_ Marcus for my stuff. Go to the 30s pod at Instagram and YouTube. the Instagram's been getting some hits. So, you know, the reels are up there. The reels do good. The short form comedy thing is what, or not even comedy, the short form content is what people like to hear. So go there if you want that. Full episodes are on YouTube and Spotify, and all the things are there. But yeah, thanks for being here, Caesar, and we'll see you guys next time.